today the speech topic is legalizing marijuana in America. So, how many of you drink alcohol? All right. How many of you smoke cigarettes? How many of you use marijuana? Okay. Well, considering studies have shown marijuana to be less dangerous and addictive than alcohol and tobacco, you should be able to answer that last question without any fear of repercussion. That is one of the many reasons why marijuana should be made legal in the United States. A Health and Human Services report on drug use and health in 2011 found that 18 million people had used marijuana recreationally in the previous month. It's no surprise that states like Washington and Colorado have already legalized it. According to Forbes magazine, Colorado pulled in $3.5 million in pot-related tax revenue related to the sale of recreational marijuana in January 2014 alone. They're projected to bring in $40 million in tax revenue by the end of the year. In Washington State, the Economic and Revenue Forecast Council expects $51 million in revenue from marijuana by the end of 2017. Those are numbers that any state would like to see in revenue, especially in this day and age. Before we get to the present, though, let's do a little short history of marijuana for you. According to the Gale Encyclopedia of Alternative Medicine, marijuana, also known as cannabis sativa, is thought to have originated in the mountainous districts of India north of the Himalayan mountains. Cannabis was recommended as treatment for numerous common ailments in China as early as 2700 BC. The ancient Greeks used cannabis as a remedy to treat inflammation, earache, and edema, which is a swelling of a body part due to the collection of fluids. By the year 100 BC, the Chinese were also using cannabis to make paper. Besides the medicinal purposes, hemp, which is also derived from marijuana, has many useful practical uses. By 1150 AD, Muslims were using cannabis fiber in Europe's first paper production. This use of cannabis as a durable and renewable source of paper fiber continued for the next 750 years. By the 1850s, hemp had become the third largest agricultural crop grown in North America. So, what about those medicinal uses that have been around for thousands of years? A total of 23 states in our country have already legalized marijuana for medicinal purposes. As of July of 2014, those states, plus the District of Columbia, have what are called effective state medical marijuana laws. That's according to the Marijuana Policy Project, the largest organization working solely on marijuana policy reform in the United States. The MPP says that 10 states, including Wisconsin, have enacted laws intended to allow a limited number of patients to use components of marijuana for medicinal purposes. Florida, Ohio, and Pennsylvania all have pending legislation or ballot measures to legalize medical marijuana this coming year. According to 2012 U.S. Census numbers, the 23 states that have active medical marijuana laws have approximately 2.5 million people who are medical marijuana patients. According to Joseph Jacob in his book, Medical Uses of Marijuana, medical marijuana is known to treat nausea and vomiting induced by chemotherapy, as well as treating symptoms of AIDS patients. It's also been used to treat chronic pain caused by rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, or for people suffering from multiple sclerosis. In 1996, Californians approved a Compassionate Use Act, which gives doctors broad leeway to prescribe the drug in the treatment of cancer, anorexia, AIDS, chronic pain, spasticity, glaucoma, arthritis, migraine, or any other illness for which marijuana provides relief. So if nearly half the states in our country have medical marijuana laws, what are the health risks? When you look at the health risks of marijuana associated when compared to alcohol and tobacco, the differences are staggering. In a 1998 study, the World Health Organization stated that the risks from cannabis use were unlikely to seriously compare to the public risks of alcohol and tobacco, as well as most prescription medications. The CDC has said approximately there was 440,000 deaths between 2006 and 2010 attributed to alcohol use. The CDC also says that between 2005 and 2009, there was approximately 480,000 deaths caused by cigarette smoking related causes. In a 1995 Journal of the American Medical Association article, it is stated that marijuana is far less addictive and far less subject to abuse than many drugs now used as muscle relaxants, hypnotics, and analgesics. There is no known cause of a lethal overdose of marijuana in the history of the world. For a drug that has minimal addictive properties and is not lethal, it is still responsible for hundreds of thousands of arrests every year. According to FBI stats, it seems that law enforcement is more interested in spending far too much time making arrests for marijuana possession than far more serious crimes that are being committed. In 2011, the FBI says approximately 663,000 people were arrested for marijuana possession, compared to less than 535,000 for violent crimes. Also in 2011, the FBI reported just over 2.2 million alcohol-related arrests. Interestingly, in 2010, there was almost 3 times as many arrests for marijuana possession as for heroin possession, which is a drug that can kill the user before the needle even comes out of the arm. I refuse to believe that there is larger public danger for people possessing marijuana than people committing violent crimes like rape, abuse, and sexual assaults. There should be far more arrests for violent crimes in this country than for something as petty as marijuana possession. As you see, marijuana does not have the same effect on mortality than drugs and alcohol, and even sometimes caffeine. It's also been known to have zero lethal effect on the users and has been proven useful in medicinal situations. The states that have already legalized it are looking to see tens of millions of dollars in revenue in the coming years. It's time to realize it makes the most sense to legalize marijuana in the United States. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm sold.
Convinced me.
Awesome.
I just had my 40th class reunion.